Acceleron Learning, life experience accelerated. On deck right now, legal basics and common contract pitfalls. Hello and welcome, I'm Chris Mikoski. You are sure to encounter a contract in your adult life, from auto loans to apartment leases. Here are some basic tips to follow. Before you sign any contract, read through it very carefully. Always make sure that the contract reflects all of the intended agreement. If there are vague or unclear portions of the contract, highlight that part and get clarification in writing from the other parties. List in writing any changes, additions, subtractions, or modifications. Discuss all desired changes with the other parties and make sure they appear in written form on the contract you sign. Always keep a copy of the contract and don't be afraid to discuss it with an attorney if it is too complicated or not clearly understood. Sometimes contracts contain strange provisions. Athletes and musicians are notorious for odd clauses in their performance contracts. Perhaps the most famous example is the brown M&M rider in rock group Van Halen's performance contract. As Van Halen lead singer David Lee Roth explained in his autobiography, Van Halen was the first band to take huge productions into small markets, and there were many technical errors. Whether it was that girders couldn't support the weight or a lot of electrical problems. So just as a little test, in the middle of the contract was the statement, there will be no brown M&Ms in the backstage area upon pain of forfeiture of the show with full compensation. So if there were brown M&Ms in that bowl, well, that meant there was likely going to be technical errors because they didn't read the contract. While the terms may be considered petty and ridiculous, there are often legitimate reasons for their inclusion. With regard to car loans, here are 4 common mistakes made by first-time buyers. 1. Buying a brand new vehicle. You can usually buy a previous model year with low miles at a greatly reduced price. 2. Failing to negotiate the purchase price, instead focusing on the loan's monthly price. Monthly payments are determined by the lender, not the car sales staff. These can be manipulated. What you care about is the total purchase price. And remember, if you do not ask for a discount, you will not receive one. 3. Letting the retailer define your credit worthiness. Dealers pull more than one credit report, which can negatively impact your credit score. Bring a recent credit report with you. 4. Financing add-ons like special rims for your car. Pay cash for the extras. Take a loan only for the essential items. One more note. Just by signing a standard auto loan contract, you are waiving your rights to have conflicts resolved in court. Consider the following story from one couple. The dealership allowed them to bring home the sales paperwork so they could read it over without having the salesman hovering over them. Everything seemed to be above board until they got to the end of the buyer's order. There, they discovered that if they signed the contract, they would waive their rights to sue the dealership in court before a jury should any dispute arise after the sale. Instead, as a condition of buying the car, they had to agree to submit to mandatory pre-dispute binding arbitration handled by the dealership's pre-selected company, the National Arbitration Forum, or NAF. After learning this, they called their salesman. His response? We think it's fair and it's non-negotiable. Clauses like this are standard fare in car contracts in many areas, so be aware.